Welcome to Land a House. I'm Seth. This is the ALLPOWERS 500 watt, 606 watt hour power station. Let's pull this out of the box and take a look at it, and then we will put it through a few applications to see how well it performs. Let's go ahead and do a quick unboxing of the contents. That's a nice feature, having those holes to grab onto. I like it. This unit comes with the power station itself, the power brick, and then the instruction booklet. It does not come with any other kind of charging cables like for a car or for solar, but you can get those separate. So let's go ahead and take a look at this unit. Let me get you up close so you can see it. This unit is a 606 watt hour, 500 watt pure sine wave inverter with 1000 watt peak. Let's go ahead and start with the front here. It's got two lights, one on both sides, so I can click here and here to turn those on and then turn them back off. It's got three buttons. One is the AC on button, which you can see right there. We are running at 61%. You can push over here and that will turn on the USB and DC side of things. And then also over here there is Bluetooth connectivity to the app that you can download for this unit. So that's the three buttons there. It has two AC out right here. And that is all for the front display. We can turn over to this side and you can see the USB. It's got three USB-A and then one USB Type-C. It's got your DC output, two of those. Turn to the back side, it's just blank back there. And then over here, you've got your Anderson for solar input. You've got your DC barrel for the power brick right here. And then over here there is a car charger or cigarette lighter, if you will, and that is a 12 volt 10 amps. So we'll test that out as well. On top it's got a carrying handle. It's a little stiff to pull out. It's got a piece of rubber under there. Hopefully you can see. There we go. So it's just kind of a nice feature for easy carrying. Now it does not have a charger on top for your cell phone, which would be nice to have since it's got a nice flat surface. And this can flip around here and it's just got some information on the bottom. Alright, that's the basic look around the outside. Let's go ahead and test out this unit. Let's test out the AC with this 220 watt LED panel. So let's go ahead and push the AC on. If I plug this up, we should see output here on this bright panel. There we go. I had to hold that down to get that to work. Some flickering there at the very beginning, but that stopped pretty quick. Turn this off to the side. See what our output is. 243 watts. So normally this thing runs at 220, so it's showing up a little bit high on this display here. And it'll run this for 1 hour and 42 minutes at that output. Let's go ahead and unplug that light and see what wattage this unit is going to use just to be turned on. So let's see what we got here. 6 watts just to be on. So that may be part of that display issue there. All right, let's go ahead and turn off the AC now that we know that's going to work. Okay, that is off. Now I have got an air compressor that's going to use 12 volt and 10 amp. So let's go ahead and plug that up and see what we get. All right, I'm going to go ahead and plug this compressor up to the 12 volt cigarette lighter. Push the DC on button. Okay, DC is on. I've got the display on my unit here. Let's see how well it runs this up to 10 amp. 46 watts, and it'll run that for 8 hours. So, all right, so the 12 volt, it seems to be working well. One thing, I like that 12 volt cover will swivel around. but it'd be nice if there was a larger tab than that little one right there to pull that open. But anyway, it works. I'm going to flip this unit around and charge up this flashlight by the USB. So I've still got the DC on, so I can plug that up there and then hook this up to the light. Alright, it's hard to see, but the red light has come on here on the flashlight, and this is currently charging at 8 watts. It'll run that for 51 hours on 58% battery. Alright, nice. So that is also working. So that takes care of all of those features of this unit. We do need to test out the charging. Now, a lot of these will allow you to charge and use the DC at the same time. Most of these smaller units do not allow pass-through, so you can't charge and use the AC at the same time. But we will test out the DC here and see how well that works. Just hooking up the power brick, and then we've got the input over here on this side. Go ahead and plug that in, and then we'll see what our display shows. Alright, it is blinking that it's currently charging, and we are still using the DC out. I turned off the DC output, and now it shows 97 watts in on the display. It says 3 hours. I'm guessing that is the time it's going to take for this to be fully charged. So let's come back in a little while and see if that number has dropped down some. It's been right at an hour and a half, and this does indicate that it has been an hour and a half, so definitely seems to be on target. So we're at 77% charged. I'm going to go eat some lunch. We'll come back out and pull this from the charging brick here, and we'll go plug up the tiny house and see how well this thing will run all those lights. Lunch was a little bit longer than I anticipated, and now we are at 100% charged. It just says hello down here on this screen. So let's unplug that, and we will now be ready to take this over and see how long it will power the lights in my tiny house. But before we do that, let's test out the brightness of these two other lights here. Let me turn off my studio lights. Alright, it's not quite 100% dark in here, but we can at least get an idea of how bright these are. So, there you go. That can light up your campsite or your RV or whatever you're using this in. I'm not sure how well you can see that, but it's using 2 watts, so 1 watt per light. So that's bright enough, I think, to do some work in for sure. And it will run that for 99.5 hours. This is my tiny house. Let's go ahead and turn off the inverter, and then we can step over here and flip these this changeover switch. So this is going to take power from this cord here instead of my inverter. So let's go ahead and put that over to 1. And now if I plug up this power cord, it will now pull from the power station and not from my inverter. Yeah, so 6 watts just to have this unit turned on. There we go. So we got 41 watts now. So the power station is now running this changeover switch, which has my breaker box, and let's see how many lights we've got on. We've got 1 light here, and then if we step up stairs, it's also running these 4 lights up here. At 57 watts out, it says it is 11 hours and 12 minutes. Strangely, the battery has dropped down to 90% already. So let's see how that's going to do as I use this for the next hour or 2. I've been working out here in my tiny house for several hours. Just turned off the 6 lights upstairs, which we're using a total of 57 watts. And the ALLPOWERS 500 watt inverter has been doing just fine. So right now it says it'll work that for 81 hours at 69%. So whenever I did have those other lights on up here, let's see if it'll pull the 50 to 70 watts again. Yeah, so we've got 63 watts. It'll run that for 7 hours. So it has been doing fine. Now, some of the lights upstairs had a bit of a flicker. I don't know if it's doing it at the moment. No, it's fine right now, as you can see, but they were flickering every maybe 20 minutes or so. There would be a flicker on that. And at one point, the fans did kick on for maybe 2 or 3 minutes, but it wasn't really that bad at all. So, all right, let me go ahead and turn off this light. And so now the 6 watts, I guess, is just what it's going to consume. All right, let's go ahead and turn that off. There we go. All right, that's a pretty good real-world application for the ALLPOWERS inverter. So this is the ALLPOWERS 500 watt, 1000 watt peak, 606 watt hour pure sine wave inverter. If you want to check more information on this, I have a link in the description down below. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Seth with Land of House, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.